presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
We have been planting seeds of hope every spring for the past 69 years. There has been many a season when those seeds produced an early bloom filled with promise, only to wilt and wither in the unrelenting summer heat. Occasionally, we've been rewarded with an autumn harvest, resulting in a glorious October bounty. But alas, our seeds have never produced a true champion. Not in a long time. 1948, long before the internet, email, and cell phones. 22 years before the Cleveland Cavaliers' existence, and 18 years before there was a Super Bowl. The Chicago Cubs exercised their century-long curse last October, leaving Cleveland with the longest current title drought in baseball. A new season begins tonight in Texas. Hopes are perhaps higher than ever in Cleveland that the seeds planted in the scorched Arizona desert will finally produce a champion. Rangers opening series is brought to you by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. It's the home of the Rangers, deep in the heart of Texas, and tonight it's opening night as the Cleveland Indians look to defend their American League Championship crown against the defending Western Division champion, Texas Rangers. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Happy to be back with you for another exciting season of Indians baseball here on Sports Time Ohio. The Indians came one win short of winning the whole thing a year ago, but Rick, they didn't sit back and rest on their laurels. They went out and signed maybe the best power hitter in the game. Yeah, it was Mike Napoli hitting fourth for him last year. This year, Edwin Encarnacion, who had a terrific year last year with 42 homers, 127 ribbies, 5 straight seasons of 30 or more home runs. Get the guys on in front of him, and he will have a field day again, and let's hope he does. Couple of strikeout artists will match up in the opener here tonight. Corey Kluber, one of just 4 Indians pitchers to strike out 200 batters in 3 straight seasons. And Yu Darvish, well, nobody since 1900 has struck out more batters in his first 100 games. Yeah, Darvish making his first opening day start of his career. Who will be a free agent at the end of the year? Corey Kluber. It'll be his 3rd, and he's looking for his first win. And we're looking forward to all of the action. Opening night here in Texas, and we'll be back with the first pitch between the Indians and the Rangers coming up next. Globe Life Park in Arlington. They're going to build a brand new home for the Rangers, but that's just a few years down the road. So for now, this is where the Rangers call home, and we call on the third member of our team downstairs, Andre Knott.
Well, thanks, Matt. You know, the one thing going on with Edwin Encarnacion is that he doesn't have to be a leader here, and that's something with Michael Brantley and some of the other guys here that he looks forward to being a part of.
I think we have a lot of leaders here, so I'm new in this team, and I know a lot of those guys looking on me, but I look at a lot of those guys too. I have a lot of respect about a lot of guys here in the clubhouse, and we're gonna continue to try to be together. Don't be like everybody's a leader here. Like everybody is in the team, so I think that's the best idea. Like we're gonna be together.
That's our Hear Right sounds of the game, and Edwin has been very relaxed leading up to this game. But the one thing we know about him is he carries a loud stick. The other guy that's excited about this moment in time is Michael Brantley. He told me this morning he had a big breakfast, and it took a second. He looked around his hotel room, and he looked around and just thought about what he's been through. And he just thanked everyone within this medical staff, his coaches, but really his teammates, Matt and Rick. He says those guys motivated him to get here for this moment.
Well, I know we're all excited to see Michael Brantley back in the lineup and the addition of Edwin Encarnacion in a lineup that was very good a year ago without them.
The second in the league in runs scored, and you didn't have Brantley and you didn't have Encarnacion, so it should only get better.
Let's take a look at the Indians starting lineup. Now tonight it's brought to you by Progressive. Carlos Santana will lead off, and he'll be the DH. Francisco Lindor will bat second. Michael Brantley back in there, hitting third in left field. Edwin Encarnacion will bat cleanup. Jose Ramirez will serve as his protector in the 5 spot. Yan Gomes will hit 6th. Tyler Naquin batting 7th. And Yandy Diaz, who makes his major league debut tonight, batting 8th. And Abraham Almonte hitting 9th.
And our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher for the Rangers is going to be Yu Darvish, the 30-year-old right-hander. This will be his first full year after coming off of Tommy John surgery. It'll be his first major league opener that he will start. He had a very good spring. When this guy's on, he's got a vicious slider. He'll throw the fastball sinker. He's got everything. He's a very talented pitcher. We'll see if he is back in form. He was 7-5 a year ago. We can set the defense for the Rangers, brought to you by Wendy's. It'll look like this. George Profar in left field. Carlos Gomez in center. Nomar Mazara in right. Joey Gallo gets the start at third base with Beltre on the DL. Elvis Andrus at short. Rougned Odor is at second. Mike Napoli at first. Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate.
Veteran Mike Winters is the crew chief. He'll have the plate tonight. Mark Wagner at first. Marty Foster at second. Mike McClinsky is at third base. And with that, we're just about ready to go as Yu Darvish finishes his warm-up tosses. And for Darvish, a big season. He's a free agent at year's end. Certainly knows there's a large payday awaiting him with the kind of numbers that he has put up. But coming back from Tommy John surgery, he was limited to the 17 starts last year. But he is a guy who has, maybe in the vein of a Trevor Bauer, a lot of pitches in terms of the whole repertoire. And like Trevor Bauer, the Rangers want him to sort of eliminate some of those pitches and just go with the 3 or 4 best ones that enable him to be successful.
Well, if his arm is feeling good, you know you've got the good fastball, little sinker, and he's got a vicious slider. That is a strikeout pitch.
Here's Carlos Santana now digging in. Santana hit .259 last year with 34 home runs. And Yu Darvish, the first pitch of the year in there for a strike.
This will be Darvish's 5th start against the Indians in his career, and he's just 1-2 against them with a .312 earned run average. They have had success against him in his 26 innings. He's given up 22 hits. He's walked 13, but 38 strikeouts.
Santana lifts a high pop to right. Nomar Mazara in a few steps will make the catch. Tonight's storylines are brought to you by Wayside Furniture, a pair of aces. Corey Kluber for Cleveland, Yu Darvish for Texas. We'll see how they fare tonight. Michael Brantley back in the lineup for Cleveland. And the major league debut of Yandy Diaz, the rookie, who was at third base and will be batting 8th tonight. Francisco Lindor, the switch hitter. And what a year it was a season ago for Lindor when you think he led the team in hits. Not many players that young of an age are able to lead a major league team in hits.
Well, when you have 23 3-hit games, that certainly helps. And it seems like every time he would get one, he would want a second one. And then after he had number 2, he wanted a third. It was very impressive to watch.
Down in the dirt. You have to go back to Buddy Bill. The last time a player was younger than Lindor and led the Indians in hits. That was in 1973. And Lindor draws a 1-out walk. Usually that's not a problem for Darvish. Last year in 100 innings, he walked 31, struck out 132. And here is Michael Brantley.
Yeah, this is my favorite storyline, seeing this guy back in the lineup, especially for opening day.
Brantley takes a strike. 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Darvish.
You know, you look at the numbers in 14 and 15, remarkable years. And, you know, we really never had to mention his name a whole lot last year when he missed the whole season because he was the best hitter in that lineup. But they found a way to weather the storm.
Lindor drawing a toss. Francisco with 19 stolen bases last year. I think with Brantley, there's still going to be some lingering questions as far as how will he hold up from a durability standpoint when you miss that much time.
Well, that's the whole thing. When you miss that much, it's going to take a while to get back in. You know, everyone expects him to get back to be where he was 2 years ago. That just doesn't happen. It takes a while to get yourself back into playing shape and things like that. But he'll be working at it. It'll take time. And I'm sure that Terry will ease him into it. Sure, he'll be in that lineup most of the times, but he has enough help around him where he can get some days off and stay strong.
0-2 count, and again Lindor drawing a throw. Mike Napoli digging it out. Darvish a long stare at Lindor and a snap throw over, but
taking a lot of time too and paying attention to him with an 0-2 count. But this is one thing you know with Michael Brantley, he was one of the best 2-strike hitters around. When he's on his game, he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, a lot like Jose Ramirez took over that role last year.
Strike 3 called.
This is his strikeout pitch, the good slider we talked about. You can see the break to it right there on the outside edge. It will drop down in the strike zone at the knees, down and away. A very good 0-2 pitch.
And now Edwin Encarnacion makes his Indians debut. he lays off that breaking ball. It's down and out of the strike zone.
And that was a good slider, and you could see in his career against Darvish, Encarnacion, a couple of home runs, 5 for 16, and it's a tough AB for a right-handed hitter, and he started him out with a good slider, although he missed with it.
That one was a better slider. At the bottom of the strike zone, it's 1-1.
But it's nice if you get in there in that first at-bat and you get a chance to see. The more times you see his slider, then maybe later in the game, if you get up with runners in scoring position, you'll pretty much know what it's going to do.
Again, Lindor drawing a throw, that time a little closer, going back in there, and he shakes that hand.
Might have jammed a finger into the base.
Well, that's not the hand you want to jam, that's the throwing hand. Threw it by him, 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think he reached back for a little extra on that one. That was the pitch Encarnacion was looking for. He got it, but he threw it by him.
With 2 down and Lindor at first, Darvish has really been grinding each pitch out. Very methodical approach here. And again, a throw over, and it's low, and Napoli saved Darvish from a throwing error. Mike was so good defensively last year at first base for Cleveland, whether it was digging out a throw from a teammate or just manning his position on a regular basis. Now 1-2. And a fastball freezes Encarnacion, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, 1 left. 2 Ks for Darvish. Corey Kluber takes the hill when we come back. Hand-cooked tires. Under manager Jeff Bannister, Carlos Gomez will lead it off. Shin-Soo Choo DHing now will bat second. Nomar Mazara hits third. Mike Napoli, coming off a career year, will hit cleanup. Rougned Odor is fifth. Jonathan Lucroy bats sixth. Then it's Joey Gallo, Elvis Andrus, and Jurickson Profar.
Our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the Tribe will be another 30-year-old Corey Kluber. 18-9 last year, finished third in the Cy Young Award battle, and he'll be getting after the Texas Rangers. Last year, he was 1-1 in his 2 starts in his career. He's 2-1 against the Rangers, and he is making his 3rd opening day start.
Carlos Gomez came over from Houston last year in a trade that may have revitalized his career.
Yeah, no question.
Numbers combined, just a .231 average, 13 homers, 53 RBI. Nothing to really get excited about, but it still netted him quite a bit of dough in the offseason. Rangers re-signed him, but they didn't re-sign Ian Desmond, and that was a surprise to some as he went elsewhere.
Well, Desmond was looking for a lot of money, and he got it out in Colorado. This guy, as you said, he revived his career. He was done in War's welcome out in Houston, but they took a flyer on him.
And Encarnacion gives it a look, but can't get to it.
Hey, suave, suave.
You know, with Desmond that was playing center field for him last year, Gomez was over at left. But now he's going to be back in center field. Also, they have DeShields that can play any three of the outfield positions.
Corey Kluber with a 1-2 pitch, sails high. Corey Kluber making his third consecutive opening day start for Cleveland. And that was a strike that didn't get called. So instead of being the first out of the inning, it's a full count for Gomez. And the payoff is a foul right back. Kluber will turn 31 1 week from tonight. He was third in the Cy Young voting last season, and many, including Terry Francona, thought he actually pitched better last year than the year he won the Cy Young award. But Rick Porcello took home the honors, and deservedly so for Porcello. But it was just a point that Tito made that showed sort of the growth of Corey Kluber. You know, that last year, okay, he didn't win the Cy Young. Numbers may not have been as good, but overall, the way he pitched and when he pitched, he was better.
He's consistent. He's the one guy you can count on out of that Indian staff.
Tight strike zone, and it's ball 4 to Gomez.
Let's take a look at that Indians defense brought to you by Jeep. Behind Corey Kluber today, it'll be Michael Brantley in left. Tyler Naquin is in center. Abraham Almonte over in right. It'll be Yandy Diaz at third. Francisco Lindor at short. Jose Ramirez at second. Edwin Encarnacion is at first with Yan Gomes catching.
Shin-Soo Choo suffered through a rough season a year ago with a fractured forearm that limited him to just 48 games. And Kluber with a first pitch strike. And with that, the Rangers figure to primarily use him in the DH spot, which is kind of a head scratcher when you consider how good of an outfielder he was. A great throwing arm when he was with Cleveland.
Yes, but you know, injuries and everything has gone down.
Good throw in time. Gomez erased by Yan Gomes.
Well, now we'll see. They're going to take a quick look and see if they felt he might have been in there, although the tag looked at it was around the thigh area before he gets there. Now, isn't there a time limit on here? He had a pretty good jump, but it's a fastball on the inside part of the plate, and there's the tag. You don't know if his hand gets in there or not, but are we going to get the challenge or not? I think we are. See, from that angle, it looks like he gets him before the hand gets in, but it's awfully tough to tell.
Again, the visual evidence has to be clear and decisive. And as you said, Rick, I just don't know that there would be enough to overturn that call. Certainly was a very close play, but a good throw by Gomes and a great job by Lindor to apply the quick tag. And the crew chief, Mike Winters, is behind the plate.
Well, there's a different look, and here comes the tag, and there's the hand, and I'm going to say that was awfully close, but he was called out, so I don't know if there's any proof that from the two angles that we were happened to see if they could call him out.
The umpires on the field don't get much communication, if any, from the guys who are looking at it. They'll just keep the headphones on until they tell them safe or out. It's not like they get to be involved in the conversation or anything with the guys who are making the decision back in replay command. Which may explain why Mike Winters has chosen not to even put the headsets on. Do we have a decision? We do. He's out. So that's out number 1 of the inning. And that's a costly challenge for Bannister.
Yeah, because, you know, there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it, so the call stands. And Gomes throws his first base stealer of the year out on the first try. Yeah, you were talking about Chu. He will get the bulk of the designated hitter role this year. We've got a young kid, Nomar Mazara, who's on deck. It's done a nice job out in the outfield last year and got the job when Chu was hurt.
Routine bouncer, and Encarnacion takes it himself. There are 2 down now. Nomar Mazara. This guy really burst onto the scene last year for Texas at just 21 years old. Hit 20 home runs. And Kluber missing just off the inside part of the plate with an off-speed pitch. And there's a fastball on the inside corner. Hit in the air, deep left center. Racing back is Brantley, and it's off the wall. And around second is Mazara. And he's in there with a 2-out double.
Well, he drove that ball to left center field. I was watching Michael Brantley go after it. He just plugs a gap in left center field. There's a fastball. It was up mid-thigh, out over the plate. It gives him a little swinging room, and you can see it short hops the wall. Naquin comes in, gets it in, and Mazara now held to a double with 2 outs.
Now Mike Napoli, boy, if you thought they loved him in Cleveland last year, he may be just as beloved here in Texas. I think he had the loudest ovation for any player that came out to start this game for Texas. Only spent 1 year with the Indians, but even Terry Francona said earlier, it's going to be really strange seeing Knapp out there on the other side tonight. And I think the same goes for a lot of his former teammates.
Yeah, but once that game starts, everything changes.
Napoli swings and fouls it off. By the way, Rick, wanted to get back to a point I was trying to make earlier on the Gomez challenge by Jeff Bannister. Because they moved the umpire challenge now to the 8th inning, he's done. He has no more challenges now left until the 8th.
Right. So that's why you want to take your time and make sure early in the game that you're pretty much 99% going to be right, I would think, especially on a play like that.
The 0-2. Swung out and missed. Kluber strikes him out to end the inning. No runs, a hit, a man left. Kluber and Darvish trading strikeouts here in the opening frame in Texas. Play challenge. Some of the new rules this year: no more intentional walk. You just say we're going to walk him, and boom, he goes to first base. And there is a 30-second limit now for managers to decide whether or not they want to challenge a play. And as you see, their crew chief may invoke replay review for non-home run calls beginning in the 8th inning instead of the 7th. Darvish delivers up high, ball 1 to Jose Ramirez. Boy, did he take something off. Not a lot, but just enough to have Ramirez swing over the top. But we've already seen Darvish up to 97 miles an hour tonight. Missed outside with a big curveball. And it's 2-1.
This is something you keep an eye on when you're a hitter, when he's behind in the count. What he will throw to hitters. And you try and remember that because he has so many pitches he can throw. That looked like a little two-seam fastball running away from the hitter, the left-hander.
I don't know what that was, but it was low apparently, and it's ball 4. So the Indians get their leadoff man aboard here in the second. Second walk in as many innings for Darvish. I said when Kluber was on the mound, it looked like a tight strike zone.
Boy. Well, it's good if you're a hitter tonight. It looks like it's going to be a hitter's zone so far. It's early.
And Yan Gomes limited to just 74 games last year. But he hit a memorable home run on the final day of the season and hit a home run that was huge. Popped up to short. Elvis Andrus makes the catch. 1 down. Take a look at the home field dimensions, brought to you by True Green here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. 332 down the left field line, 325 to right, 390 in left center, 377 in right center. You got the big wall in left and 400 to straightaway. The ball flies out of here, though, to right and right center field.
Yeah, I mean, it jumps out of here anyway. Normally, when you come in here later in the season, the infield is baked. It's a lot like a spring training field where the ball scoots through. Good if you're a hitter. It carries a lot. So there are times where you can see a lot of runs scored in this ballpark.
Pitches up high. Ball 1 to Tyler Naquin, who made the club out of spring training as a rookie, but did not start on opening day. The man behind him in the order, Yandy Diaz, made the club and is starting here on opening day. Chopped to second base. Odor to Andrus and back to first. The Rangers turn 2. Yu Darvish with the 2-for-1 ball. Then we go to the bottom of the second in Arlington. No score. Barbecue, huh?
Boy, they were out all way before the game getting things ready out here with the barbecue, and people are enjoying themselves, that's for sure. Live Indians baseball is back in 2017 with the MLB.com @bat app on your smartphone or tablet. You can stay connected to live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download the #1 app for live baseball. That is MLB.com @bat.
Rougned Odor to lead off the bottom of the second for Texas. Last year at the age of 22, Odor had 33 homers and 33 doubles.
Well, he never gets cheated. He gets up there and he swings it as hard as he can pretty much all the time.
Yanked foul.
He has the high leg kick. It's a great park for him to hit in, and he developed into an excellent hitter for him last year.
Between Odor and Jose Altuve, the state of Texas has the market cornered on under 6-foot second baseman.
Yeah, two pretty good ones too.
Breaking ball a little high, 1-2.
Defensively, he could tighten it up a little bit, and I'm sure he will once with a little experience, you know.
Led the league among second basemen in errors last year, but overall Texas was very good defensively. Fouled right back out of play. I think most people, when they think of Rougned Odor from a year ago, will think back to the altercation with Jose Bautista when he punched his lights out right here on the diamond in Arlington, and that was a spillover from the season before that in the playoffs.
It was the last game they were playing this year between the two teams, between Toronto and Texas, is when it happened.
Last year, yeah. They hit him with a pitch, and then he went hard into second base. And
well, yeah,
that was that.
But you see, as we always say, baseball players have long memories. They don't forget.
Up high, full count. Hammered deep right. Back is Almonte. Goodbye. On a 3-2 pitch, Rougned Odor gives Texas a 1-0 lead.
It looked like a cutter that didn't really cut to me, going in on the inside part of the plate. It didn't get in on the hands where he wanted it. He had a nice swing on it. Hit a line drive and it got out of here. Check it out on our pitch tracker. There it was, flat, right middle of the plate. Speeds up his bat a little bit, and it got out of here. So they will take the lead on Odor's first home run of the year in his first at bat.
Texas, much like the Indians a year ago, a lot of success when they score first. Indians had the best record in the American League when scoring first. Texas had the third best mark when getting that first run of the game. But game one early in the season, pitchers are all trying to find their rhythm. And it looks like Kluber's just a fraction off here in the early going. Combine that with maybe a bit of a tight strike zone, and you get yourself into some difficult spots. There's a strike called. It's 2-2. Last year, the Rangers won 5 of 7 head-to-head with Cleveland. Well, it's been tight all since we started. It stays that way. And another full count. Slow chopper, foul at the third base side.
This is, I think, the third full count that Kluber has had so far. We are only in the second inning.
Line to Lindor, 1 away. Joey Gallo getting the start at third base with Adrian Beltre on the DL to start the year. Though it's a retroactive move for Beltre, and the Rangers believe he'll probably be back before this homestand is through for Texas. He's got a calf problem that bothered him a little bit.
Yeah, it's only the second time in Beltre's career that he did not start on the opening day roster. Last time, 2001.
Fair behind the bag. Encarnacion with a nice flip to Kluber, who's there, 2 down.
This ball hit right down the line, had a little top spin to it. Gallo, a big kid, and he puts it in play, and Encarnacion smothers it. Just the underhand flip to Kluber for the second out.
Man with 2 down, Elvis Andrus to the plate. And boy, this guy has just been amazing when it comes to playing against the Indians. He's played 57 games, and he's hit in 53 of them.
Yeah. You remember he had that 39-game hitting streak that ended in June of 2014 on an 0 for 4, but that's incredible to start your career out.
Oh, Arch, in some ways it's hard to believe that Elvis Andrus is 28 years old, and this will already be his 9th season as the Rangers shortstop.
Yeah. Well, you got to go back. It's been 13 years since it was him, Michael Young. Remember, they introduced some Hall of Famers today.
That's going to be fair down the left field line.
Yes,
It'll hit into the corner. And Michael Brantley digs it out, but a 2-out double for Elvis Andrus.
Third hit for the Rangers tonight. All of them extra base hits. The double by Mazzara in the first, then the homer and the double here. Didn't get that one in enough, and he turned on it, hit it down the line. So a 2-out double will give him another opportunity to a guy that's had a little success against Kluber in his career. He's 3 for 5 against Corey. And this is a guy, interesting story, that, you know, he's a good player, but they can't find a position for him everywhere because he's normally a second baseman. Well, you've got Odor there. He's played some outfield. He's played all over the infield. Very talented guy.
Getting the start in left field tonight. So far in 90 games last year, hit just .239. 5 homers, 6 doubles. To first base. Encarnacion has it again. He'll flip it to Kluber to end the inning. But Rougned Odor yanks one out of here to right field, and Texas takes an early 1-0 lead.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you?
Let's finish it off.
Take it off the cob, though. Too early for that. Today's Levin player profile. Yandy Diaz making his major league debut. He's the first Indians player to make his major league debut on opening day since Andy Allenson just over 30 years ago. And Diaz, who hails from Cuba, hit his way onto the club this spring. Now Darvish gets that call that appeared to be just off the plate. Yandy Diaz last year played 121 games between AAA and AA. He combined for a .305 average. 58 runs driven in, 22 doubles.
Well, just watching him, he stays on the baseball so well. Slightly open stance. Good pitch.
Darvish nails the outside corner. Hits his third strikeout. One away.
He just goes down and away with a very good fastball, paints the outside corner. So Darvish with his third strikeout, all of them have been called.
Abraham Almonte batting ninth tonight. Darvish has walked 2 and struck out 3. First time through the order. Definitely came out with a little extra giddy up, hit 97 miles an hour with his fastball. Almonte yanks it into the seats.
Well, there's no getting out of the way of that one today, because there's not any empty seats down there. That thing gets on you in a hurry. That was like a stone skipping on a lake. It just kept going, hitting everybody in its sight.
The 0-2. That bounced in there. Low with a heater. Abraham Almonte. You look at his situation. He makes the club when Lonnie Chisenhall ends up going on the DL. But again, it doesn't sound like Chisenhall will be out long. In fact, Tito expected to see Chisenhall back in time for the home opener.
But he did say Almonte, he worked hard and he fought to get his way on that roster.
Last year hit 267 or 264 in the 67 games that he played. And he got better as the season went along. He really got hot down the stretch.
He had a good September because, he missed the first 80 games. And then it took him a while to play his way through it and then, get a feel for it. But just don't play catch up. And
was not eligible for the postseason.
Not for the postseason. That's correct. And if he would have been, he probably would have been on that roster the way he was playing at the end of the year.
And a 3-2. And another walk for Darvish. So first time through, 9 batters faced. He walks 3, strikes out 3. Darvish, a guy who I mentioned, has a lot of pitches in his repertoire. As a catcher, how do you handle that? Here's Sandy Alomar.
With 3 pitches. If you had 3+ pitches, you can navigate with that. If you have 5 pitches and 2 of the pitches are average, you're not going to use those other 2 that much because you don't want to lose a game in a situation that you have to you want to throw your quality pitches and then you try to sneak in one of your less pitches and then you give up a home run or something like that. So you have to make him believe that to use those other 3 pitches, the top 3. When pitcher have too many pitches, it's very hard to command all 5.
And I think the point he makes there that really you want to focus on, that's the catcher's job to really work hard with that pitcher to say, hey, let's focus on these 3. You've got to sell it to him and get him to believe.
You're lucky if you have 3 and you're a starting pitcher in the big leagues. To go out and say you have 5, I mean, yeah, you can throw 5, but can you command 5 is the point. And Sandy's saying, yeah, if you're going to beat, give me my best. You're going to go to your best in situations when you need outs. Simplify.
Indians yet to get a runner beyond first base, though they've had a runner at first 3 times now.
Since the first inning, really paying attention to guys that are on first base. I don't know if they were making a conscious effort of that this year with him in spring training, but boy, he is paying a lot. And sometimes he throws over there just like that last throw. Why do you even bother throwing? You're not going to get anybody. Just step off.
Hammered, fair, right field, into the corner. Almonte speeding around second, on his way to third. Mike Sarbaugh will throw up the stop sign, and Indians at second and third with 1 out on the double by Santana.
Yeah. Nice swing by Carlos, getting it down into the corner. Now, you can't take the chance of sending the guy in this situation. It's not a very long throw from right, even though he did miss his cutoff man, Odor, and the trailer was Mike Napoli down the line. He might have been able to score if you send him, but you're getting into the heart of your lineup now with just 1 out, so you have to make absolutely sure you are going to score here. You see it down in the corner. Mazzara plays it. No harm right there. Santana's going to get to second, but watch that throw comes in. It gets by Odor and Napoli right behind him, so we had to stop him. So it's second and third with 1 out and a chance to at least tie the game.
200th career double for Carlos Santana. And now Francisco Lindor will try to, at the very least, even up the game.
See, this is where your good pitchers can come out, and he's going to look for a strikeout in this situation. He started him off with a good slider. And it's not just the get-me-over slider. That was a good one. He's going to go and try and keep those runners stranded.
Lindor shoots one toward left, charging hard. Profar makes the catch, and Santana is all the way to third base. Almonte would have scored.
He did score, though, before they get the out.
Well, he did, but Santana almost ended up at third base before Almonte did. He took off, but the run scores.
Yeah, it scored before they went. They decided to throw to second base. Look, they're throwing to second base. If they throw to second there and they get the out, fine. That's why he cut it at third base, and they go back to get him. He's out, but the run should score.
Yeah, if they go to second base on the cut.
Yes, they get the double play before he scores, and then it's over. Correct. That's the play, but they cut it off, and then they decided to go back there, and the run scores.
That hesitation cost him as Almonte gets across with the game-tying run. 1-1, middle of the third in Arlington. winners on the double play that ended the inning, but the Indians got their run home, and it counted.
Watch Santana. He's just going to third base. Now, here's the third baseman, Gallo. He's pointing to second. I'm sure out there that Profar didn't realize he was going to throw it home. If he lets the ball go, he would have been out at home plate. But he sees the guy going to third base, so he wanted to cut it and throw it.
If Gallo wouldn't have looked home and just gone straight to second, they might have had the double play and been out of the inning. I don't know if he had him at home on the throw through. I don't know.
The throw looked like it was ahead of him, unless it was offline. I thought it would have beat him.
And on the first pitch, Carlos Gomez puts the Rangers right back on top. A second deck shot. His first home run of the year, second of the game for Texas. 2-1 Rangers.
Well, that tie game didn't last but one pitch. It looked like a cutter to me. Gomez, the right-hander. Let's take a look. Yes, it was, and it was a flat one right down the middle. And those cutters that don't cut can go a long way. And right back come the Rangers with a 2-1 lead.
And Shin-Soo Choo the batter. And a little late on that swing. Choo will be 35 this July.
Sounds surprised.
I do. I just.
Time keeps
going.
Where
does it go, my friend? Where does it go? One and two the count. And a high pop to right center field. Calling for it is Almonte. And that's out number one.
Yeah, you always want to try and slam the door after that. Your offense can come back and get you a run. And Corey, the first pitch, obviously he didn't try and throw it there, but he had some issues last year with shutdown innings where after his team scored and it was like a close 0-1 run game, they came right back on him. He had an ERA to 5.87. Yeah, the 4 hits he's given up today, the 2 solo home runs and a pair of doubles as well.
Well, you look at Texas and Cleveland, and their numbers across the board were almost identical in so many categories. Wins, losses, home splits,
right.
Road splits. And then offensively, both teams really thrived in their own ballpark.
Yes.
Didn't do quite as well on the road offensively.
They had the best record in the American League because we
Like
played one fewer game,
yeah,
but had
right.
the same number of wins. But you're right. You look at the numbers, and it's just like mirror image.
But what happened to Texas in October last year was their pitching went south in the first series against Toronto, and that was an early exit.
Well, that's going to be their key this year, their starting pitching. If they can get good starting pitching, I think they'll be just fine. You know, but Cole Hamels, he struggled a lot and struggled in the postseason last year in the second half. And, of course, Darvish was somebody they really count on. Their bullpen got off to a slow start last year, but picked it up in the second half.
Nomar Mazara bangs one right back up the middle. 5 hits for the Rangers. And 1 on 1 out now for Mike Napoli, who struck out his first time up. Checked on a ball that was high. The Indians and Rangers played a 2-game exhibition in the middle of spring training in San Antonio. You and I were there along with Andre to do those games.
That was not a baseball ballpark or stadium or whatever you want to call it.
Well, the Alamo Dome is a football stadium for sure. But the thing that struck me, and I know Andre talked to him more at length, but you could just tell that for Mike Napoli there was a little bit of separation, somberness, if you will. Outside corner, 2-1. It was the first time, I think, getting a chance to see the guys and look at him after what he went through a year ago with that club, going all the way to the World Series. Now the 2-1 on its way. And that's low.
Well,
3 balls in the strike.
Well, Matt, even talking to Knapp today, he said this is just a weird day. He's glad today is the opening day, though. He says, I want to get it out of the way. I still look over there. There's a lot of my guys, a lot of my family over there. And I don't think he's going to get over this anytime soon. Even talking to some of his family, he still sees himself as an Indian, even though they love him here in Texas.
Well, I've got a thought on that as well, Andre, as we await the 3-1 pitch. Runner goes, and it's upstairs, ball 4. And Corey Kluber working himself into some trouble here in the 3rd inning, now 2 on, with 1 out. Some stirring in the bullpen for Cleveland, but no action just yet. I think when you look at Mike Napoli in his career, he's been a good player in a lot of different places. But last year, I kind of think was the first time in his career where he was the man, so to speak. And I think, when you're in that situation and you're looked up to as the veteran and you've got the young players around you, that has to feel really good as a player. And I think that's probably why that separation, not having that anymore, might be a little bit more difficult than in other situations where he's, left the team.
Well, it was a weird year when you're looking at power hitters because, all right, we had Napoli, who was a free agent. We end up signing Encarnacion, who was a free agent. And no one ever thought he was going to hang out on the market or the Indians would have a chance.
Another drive, deep right, goodbye. Texas getting out the big bats here tonight, and Rougned Odor, what a debut. His 2nd home run, this one a 3-run shot. It's a 4-run 3rd and a 5-1 Rangers lead.
Texas breaking out the boomsticks is right. Last time a couple of home runs in a game, you got to go back to August 31st of last year. And he's going to hook this one into right center field. That ball went away, but he stayed back out of the nut. You see that high leg kick? This one he had some lift to. The other one was a pitch inside that didn't get there. This one carried right into the place where it carries so well in this ballpark. And that's a 3-run homer, a 4-run inning, and it's a 5-1 ball game.
Just like that. And 1 out, bases empty.
Well, you just got to hold them right there now. I mean, they came back. They put a big inning on the board.
Left field, here's Michael Brantley. And there are 2 down.
Get out of this and let your offense go to work.
Well, this is a Rangers club that, has won back-to-back National League Western Division crowns. They went to back-to-back World Series not that long ago, back in 2010 and 2011. They've got high expectations for this season. They both have very good managers. Jeff Bannister finished 2nd to Tito in the Manager of the Year voting.
And won it the year before.
Pulled foul. Sean Armstrong getting loose in Cleveland's bullpen. And that one took off on Kluber.
This Joey Gallo, a guy that I don't think he has much more to prove down at AAA. He just can't find a spot here with Adrian Beltre, the third baseman. This kid here has great power. His one problem or one issue would be striking out a lot at this level where they can find your holes and attack your weaknesses. But he certainly has great power. Fits right into this Texas lineup where he swings hard. Yes, he did.
On the appeal, he did not, says Mike McClinsky at third. The Indians have the big shift on for Gallo with 3 on the right side of the infield. And that's out of play. Gallo, as you pointed out, the power numbers in the minor leagues, 240 homer seasons in the minors. So
right.
You're right. What more do you have to prove there?
You can't prove anything else down there. Just can't crack the lineup here.
Swing and a miss. Kluber strikes him out. And that'll end the inning. But Texas doing all their damage tonight via the long ball. Gomez and Odor go deep. It's 5-1 Texas. Quite an intro. Thank you, Al. Michael Brantley going to lead off for the Indians here in the 4th inning. It's a 5-1 deficit, but certainly plenty of opportunities for the Tribe to get back into it.
Yeah, time to go to work. They only have the one hit.
Brantley Nice play by Odor to the backhand side. Low throw, and Napoli is there to dig it out. Pretty good play on both ends that time.
Odor going to his right on the backhand. It looked like that ball jumped up on him a little bit, but he kept his composure, his balance, and turns and throws. And Napoli has a short hop pick over at first to retire Michael Brantley. Well, no, not really. It didn't look like that bad. It looked like Napoli caught it in the air.
And up comes Edwin Encarnacion. Called out on strikes, his first time up.
This is what he did to Eddie his first at bat. Started him off slider the first couple of pitches, and that's where he reached back and got up to 97 on a swing and miss.
Low and away with a fastball. 2-0. And now ball 3.
For Darvish, he has walked 3 already, but that goes along with 3 strikeouts.
Easing off the accelerator that time with his fastball, just a 94. And Encarnacion with a line drive single to left. Rick, every game we did in spring training, I think he had at least one line drive base hit to left field.
Well, the thing of it is, watch, this is a pretty good pitch away. He hooks this ball. He didn't stay on it. He went out there because the count was in his favor. He was looking for that fastball, but he goes out to get it. That was on the outside edge, and actually a very nice pitch. Better job of hitting right there by Encarnacion. See, he thought he popped it up.
Yeah, he didn't even see it.
He didn't see it because it was away, and he hooked it. And he hooked a line drive. So he hit a very good pitch.
1-on-1 out now for Jose Ramirez, who walked his only time up. And it's ball 1. It's high. Oh, and then Encarnacion something in his back pocket. The umpire ejected his back pocket. And that's low. 2-0.
That's what they need, a little couple of base runners. Get something happening right now, and Darvish falling behind in the count in this inning after they just gave him a 4 spot.
And a high drive, deep right center field. Gomez looking up, gone to Souvenir City, and Jose Ramirez gets the Indians on the board and right back in the ball game as it's now 5-3.
Yeah, fall behind in the count, and you know, Jose, he's not known for his power, but he gives that one a ride into right center field on a 2-0 heater. It's going to be our Yellowwood bringing the lumber, and one swing of the bat, and back come the Indians. 2-0, there's the fastball, and turns on it. Well, back-to-back hits for the Indians. It's now a 5-3 game.
And now here's Yan Gomes, who popped up on the infield his only time up. Looks at a slider for strike 1. Yeah, Ramirez providing the protection this year the Indians hope for Edwin Encarnacion, as Yan Gomes sends a fly ball to right field for out number 2. Injury report is brought to you by the attorneys at Elkanell. Jason Kipnis, Lonnie Chisenhall start the day on a 10-day DL, but neither expected to be out long. Same situation for Adrian Beltre of Texas. Cody Anderson, however, will miss the season after having Tommy John surgery just recently. Tito figures Lonnie Chisenhall could be ready by the time the Indians return home. And Jason Kipnis, he's hoping that he'll be back before the end of April at the latest. He's hoping to be back before then. Tyler Naquin bounced into a double play, his only time up. And in there for a called strike. It's funny, Darvish was kind of falling behind hitters, and then boom, gives up the 2-run homer. Now he comes right back, and he seems like he falls back into attack mode.
Well, yeah, you have to.
That fastball a little high.
It didn't look that high, though.
No, just kind of.
Lucroy was sitting there, looked like he clanked off his glove. Watch, it was right there. Yeah, off the thumb of that catcher's mitt that ricochets away.
Off speed in the dirt. 2-2. Now the 2-2, and Naquin with a ground ball right at Odor. And the inning is over. But the Indians flex their muscle here in the 4th inning. And Jose Ramirez puts a jolt into a baseball. Tribe closes the gap to 5-3. Consecutive seasons of 200 or more strikeouts joins a very select group of Indians pitchers.
Big names right there. Goes back a long way, doesn't it? Different generations. Corey is this generation's star pitcher.
Well, and now, Rick, it's a case where the Indians got him some runs, got back in the game.
Yeah,
we'll see if Corey can.
This is the middle part of the ball game. You got to shut down some innings. This is a very important one because they've scored in the last 2 innings, and they've scored with the long ball.
Kluber has not had a 1-2-3 inning. Neither has Darvish, though Darvish did face the minimum in the second thanks to a double play ground ball.
Well, that's the thing I was looking at early in this contest with Kluber out there. Not a lot of swings and misses, and a lot of times that comes from his command.
Michael Brantley snares the liner off the bat of Andrus for out number 1. And up comes Jurickson. Profar, he bounced out to first base his only time up. Yeah, if ever Kluber needed a quick inning to try and extend his time in this game, it would be now. We're only in the 4th, so a long way to go.
Well, yeah, baseball opened up yesterday for the very first games. A couple of comeback wins early.
We've already seen
I know.
dramatics.
I mean, you see the Giants come back with their closer that they went out to pay. He gave it up as Arizona had a comeback win. The Cardinals, a comeback win over the Cubbies. So it's all starting all over again. Some very good baseball just starting.
And as much as we all look forward to opening day in the first few games of the season, we all have to remind ourselves, you know,
there's only 161 more after
you
today.
can't lose the pennant in the first couple of days of the season.
No.
2-1 pitch. Down and in, 3 balls and a strike.
Well, we've already had our first postponement. Detroit, the Chicago White Sox were rained out today. That didn't take long, did it? They'll make it up tomorrow.
They hope.
Right.
The 3-1. Profar, he tried to yank it by Encarnacion, who's playing right on the line. And it's a full count. Well, the weather here looks pretty good. Going to be 85 in Arlington tomorrow. Going to cool down a bit on Wednesday, but no rain in the forecast. So this opening series should go off without a hitch. And then the Tribe will head back to Phoenix to play the Diamondbacks before returning home to Cleveland for the home opener. And the 3-2. Got him looking. Boy, that was a great pitch by Kluber. And he hasn't really had that pitch, that little comeback fastball. And this one froze Profar.
Yeah, that's the good one to the left-handers where it locks them up. They jump out of the way, and that has enough comeback to it to catch the inside part of the plate. And you can see the good movement on that pitch. We talked about earlier in the first few innings, it looks like it's going to be a hitter's zone tonight. So you've got to make some quality pitches if you're going to get these guys to take it. And it's still going to be a strike.
Corey has retired 4 in a row. But it was Carlos Gomez that started his headaches in the 3rd inning when he hit the first pitch out of the park for a home run and gave Texas the 2-1 lead.
Just a flat cutter. It really didn't do anything. It stayed right there. And, you know, when you throw that cutter, see, that's the slider that has a little more tilt. And it doesn't do anything. That's like a BP fastball. You know, when you're throwing 93, 94 like Corey, that ball just stays straight and there's not much to it. Because you're expecting it to move, but there's a little more tilt on that pitch, and he gets the swing.
And it's 1-2. Came right back with the same pitch.
You can see the depth. We see it. The hitters, you know, they get a little more aggressive when you throw it the first time. They think they're going to come back and get a fastball away.
Oh, locked him up. And
there you go.
It was a quick inning for Corey Kluber. He strikes out a pair. 4 in 4 innings of work. Indians down 5-3. Shop Levin's, and by Cleveland Clinic. Express Care online. Download it now for free. Perfect night here in the Lone Star State. 80 degrees at game time, not a cloud in the sky. And we've had a lot of action here for a game we thought maybe coming in with Kluber and Darvish, a pair of aces. A lot of strikeouts between the two of them in their recent years, but it's been the offense that has had the upper hand so far.
Yeah, you just never know with the starting that season out whether the pitchers are going to have the upper hand or the hitters. But when you're playing in weather like this, the hitters love it.
Rangers have hit 3 homers. The Indians have hit 1. Then Yandy Diaz making his major league debut tonight. The rookie was called out on strikes his first time up.
Yeah, 7 of the 8 runs scored between the two teams have come via the long ball. That weird play in the 3rd inning for the Indians, it was like a sac fly with Lindor when Santana took off from second base and they doubled him up.
Low heater right at the bottom of the zone, 2-1. Yandy's dad, Jorge Diaz, also defected from Cuba and played in the Rangers minor league system back in 2000. The 3-1. Hit hard right at the shortstop Andrews, and it eats him up.
Yes, it did eat him up. That ball was hit so hard he tried to side saddle it, and that hop, we told you this infield sometimes can be a little quick. We'll see if that goes as an error, but that ball sort of ate him up.
It is an error, but Rick, that's one of those ones where if you haven't been down there in front of a ball like that, you might have a different take on it. I don't know.
You would, but he'll be the first to tell you he should have caught it. But I'll tell you what, the ball was smoked. It was right in his line.
Let's go down to Andre.
Matt, you talked about Yandy's father playing for the Rangers, but back at home, and his mom can't watch the games, and he says that's the only thing that's bothered him about this week, knowing that she can't see the games in Cuba. But because of his journey that he's made it here, he said he cried when he found out he made the roster, because that's why he made this journey that he made over here.
We've got to find a way to get Sports Time Ohio down there.
We're working on it. I've tried to talk to some people. We'll see if we can do it. But, you know, he was jailed twice in trying to come to the United States. So this has been a heck of a journey to get here.
Yeah. Abraham Almonte walked and scored. His only time up, takes a strike. That's the whole thing. You know, people talk about pressure facing you, Darvish, an opening debut in your major league debut. I mean, when you've been through what Yandy Diaz has been through, this is a walk in the park.
Yes, to say the least. This is the icing on the cake.
The 1-1. Almonte fights it off, fouling it back, 1-2. A little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I don't know what kind of a base stealer Diaz is, but I know he's got to be able to run. I mean, he's got to have some speed. Otherwise, I don't think they would have been really looking at him as a potential outfielder, which was the case early in spring.
Well, you just try to find a defensive position for him when you can hit like he can.
Almonte pulls it foul with authority. Yandy had 11 steals last year in his 121 minor league games, so nothing that really jumps out at you, but Low. And a full count.
We'll see if Tito starts him here. Although you have a strikeout pitcher on the mound with a full count. Nobody out. Do you want to start the runner? Do you think Almonte will put it in play? If you do, you're going to start the runner.
He holds, and Almonte pulls it foul.
Yeah, that's what you bank on. It's not like if you can steal a base because you're not trying to get a jump in this situation. Although it's the middle of the game, and the reason why Tito didn't put it on is because Darvish is a guy that gets a lot of swings and misses. So you could get the swing and miss, and you could get the double play by throwing him out, and you have Santana on deck. So that's the thinking going into it.
No, he's gone 9 straight batters without a strikeout now after striking out 3 of the first 9 to start the game.
But you can see, you pay attention after every pitch. You just never know. If you have a couple of good swings, maybe he feels okay now. Situation's different. Maybe we'll start him.
Yeah, this will be the 9th pitch of the at bat for Almonte. Not bad when you're talking about your number 9 hitter.
Well, especially he's fouled off a couple of very good pitches that were down in the zone too.
And it's low, ball 4.
Great at bat, and now they gave themselves a start to an inning with the error.
Second walk for Almonte. And I believe if my card is correct, that's the 4th walk issued by Darvish.
It sure is. He's walked Almonte twice, Lindor back in the 1st inning, and Ramirez to lead off the 2nd.
Now the last time Santana was up, he crunched one down into the right field corner. It led to a run for the Indians.
Well, you can go out and put your signs on, but I don't think you're going to see a bunt in this situation. Lucroy going out in front of the plate, going through his signs that he gets from the bench.
Outside ball 1. I mentioned Santana doubled down the right field line his last time up. Seems like the Rangers want to bunch the alleys. They're going to give the double down the line, so they just want to try to cut anything off in the gaps here.
That's a pretty safe way to go in this ballpark because it shoots out to right center field, and they're playing Santana for the most part at Gomez over in left center field, you know, on the left side of second base. And normally Santana's going to try to pull everything anyway, so their defense with no shift. We usually see 3 guys on the one side.
Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, out for a conversation here with Darvish.
Well, it's not too late to get a prorated 2017 Tribe season ticket package for the best seats at the best prices with the best perks. Save big over single game prices. Get access to our summer season ticket, autograph party, and plenty more. Visit Indians.com for the details.
An overflow crowd, I guess, here at Globe Life Park. It's sold out, and they are packed in everywhere. And I'm sure Brocail went out to tell Darvish, look, you've got to get back onto the attack. Now here's Santana, 2-0 count. High 3-0. Nobody throwing in the Rangers bullpen, but that could change very quickly, as this will be the 70th pitch of the night for Darvish.
Yeah, digging himself a hole. And it all started with the error.
On a hard hit ball. And we should point that out. And as you said, I get it. I think, hey, if I'm a major league shortstop, I think I should make every play out there. But that ball was scorched by Diaz. It put him on the defensive as a shortstop.
Yeah, he didn't.
Instead of being able to charge, he was like, oh boy.
So that's how hard the ball was hit, and it was sort of an in-between hop for an infielder. So, but it's little things that get you started. Now they're set up to get right back into this game, if not take the lead if they have a big inning.
Tony Barnett getting loose in the Texas pen. Lindor taking it's a called strike.
Yeah, there's the bullpen up getting loose. And you're right, you see that go-to pitch now that he's in trouble. He comes right back with that slider again. That one backed up a little bit.
He's in the hole 0-2. Lindor hit a liner to left that the Rangers turned into an inning-ending double play, but he picked up the RBI when Almonte scored from third. It was an unusual play. Right back to him.
Oh boy,
to home for one, and in time a double play.
Boy, that's exactly what Darvish and the Rangers were looking for, a little comebacker, and he went right to home plate. Luke Croy able to get the ball and an easy throw to first base, and he's ahead in the count, so you get to expand the zone. He went with that little breaking ball away off the plate, comes right back to him on one hop. You couldn't ask for anything better if you're a Rangers fan. Now he has a chance to get out of the inning and pick up his defense and himself.
Second and third, 2 down for Michael Brantley. Brantley 0 for 2 on the night. Looked like maybe he would have a hit his last time up, but it was a terrific play by Odor.
Well, 2 years ago when he was in there, this was the guy you wanted up in this situation.
Yeah,
2
no
outs,
doubt.
guys and runners in scoring position. You had a really good feeling. Let's see if he can start us off in that situation right now. Base hit here, we'll tie it.
We're in the 5th. It's a 5-3 Rangers lead, and Darvish steps away. Brantley has played just over 800 games in his career. And so if you figure 162 games a year, that averages out to essentially 5 seasons in which he's averaged 80 runs batted in. And Darvish ate him up. It's 0-2.
Well, you go down and in with that slider, and he just said that swinging over the top of it. That's a good bite. That was a little harder, and there's a tight finish to it. And now he can expand his zone again, because when he got bases loaded, he went right to the aggressive pitch and that slider. And he's been pitching from in front of the count.
Good block. And a count of ball and 2 strikes now for Brantley.
Well, that's the one thing. Darvish, look, he knows he's going to throw it in the dirt. Lucroy did a nice job of blocking it, keeping it in front, keep the runner there. But you know, as a catcher, when you call it, you anticipate that pitch being in the dirt, so you can throw a body on it with a man on third base and 2 outs.
Well, he's still ahead in the count. With 2nd and 3rd and 2 away. Brantley with a bouncer to first, and Napoli will take it himself. So the Indians load him up with nobody out, but cannot punch one home. And the Rangers lead it 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And now we'll send it back to the studio. as Corey Kluber has gone 4, but he has suddenly found his stride, so to speak. He's retired 5 in a row, and 3 of the 5 via the strikeout. So Arch, better late than never.
Oh yeah, you get back. He had a feel, and you're right. That last inning was a big boost. He had some very good command on some of his pitches.
He's retired Chu both times up tonight. Once on a ground ball, once on a fly ball. And first pitch strike. And Chu waves at a good off-speed pitch that time.
Looked like a changeup to me.
Corey.
One of the first one I have witnessed tonight, I think. And he usually throws it just to the left-handers, and that was a good one.
Pulls it foul. Really took off on. God, I'm looking, boy. That's the second time we've seen Kluber start that fastball. It's just off the plate, runs it back over the inside corner, and the left-handed hitter is frozen.
Well, they set this inning up for the Indians. It started with the error. Andrus didn't get the ball. Then Darvish hurt it himself. He walked the next 2 guys, but boy, did that settle him in. He threw the breaking ball and stayed with that slider, and I'll tell you what, had the 1-2-3 double play and then ran the fastball in after he threw 2 good sliders to Michael Brantley and got himself out of the inning, and he did a heck of a job.
Nomar Mazara. He's had a great start. Doubled in the first, singled and scored in the third. And I think the Rangers were concerned because of how drastically he tailed off last year. Got off to a fantastic start. And again, he's a young guy, only 21 years old. Oh, what a diving stop at third by Yandy Diaz. Robbed him of his 3rd hit of the game. You just lay out and do whatever you can.
Well, this ball wasn't hit all that hard. It was sort of like a flare off the end of the bat, but he took 1 step and then the dive and makes a beautiful catch, or he would have been 3 for 3. Had a lot of spin on it as well.
Now Mike Napoli struck out in the first, walked and scored ahead of the homer by Odor in the third. And that's always something about Napoli, that Rick, he'll have the strikeouts, but he'll also work the count and draw his share of walks too.
Yeah.
And he takes a fastball strike
right now.
0-2.
Kluber's got his command back. He's not walking anybody. He's getting aggressive as well. He is settled in. He's got the feeling back.
A little high, 2-2. That's not a bad idea, though.
Elevate it.
Will chase the high fastball at times.
Well, he did earlier in his first at bat.
That one came back over the plate, but he hits it right at Lindor to end the inning. That's 8 straight retired by Corey Kluber. Getting a little help from his D here in the 5th.
Francona. Just visit Indians.com for complete details. Talking to Tyler Naquin right there.
Edwin Encarnacion. He singled with 1 out in the 4th and scored ahead of the home run by Jose Ramirez. Bounces that one just wide of third for a foul ball. Yu Darvish closing in on 80 pitches for the night. No action though in the Texas bullpen. They did have Tony Barnett up last inning when it looked like he was in trouble.
Hurry. Yes, he was in trouble.
He was in trouble. Bases loaded, nobody out, but he got out of it. And he comes right back with that slider. That has been his go-to pitch tonight. And he bounced that one in the dirt.
That didn't feel good. Looked like it went off the arm of Lucroy back there, deflected. Blocking pitches. This is day one. You only have 161 more to go.
Went all the way to the backstop, so he's missed badly on his last two.
You know, when he was walking, he's walked 5 today. Seems like he's lost his arm slot with his fastball, but when he gets into trouble and has to throw a strike, he comes right back to that slider every time. His fastball command has not been that good tonight.
And Encarnacion with a one-hopper to short. And Elvis Andrus throws him out. 1 away. It's April in the OHIO, and you can get your game on again tomorrow night here in Texas as Carlos Carrasco takes on Martin Perez. Indians Live with Alan Jensen hits the air at 7:30. We'll have all the action at 8 right here on the home of the Indians, Sports Time Ohio, and don't forget Fox Sports Go. Now here's Jose Ramirez, walked in the 2nd, 2-run homer in the 4th. Indians inked Ramirez to a long-term contract extension just before they broke camp. And a ground ball right up the middle, but shading in that way was Andrews. And 2 quick outs for Yu Darvish. And it's amazing. The Indians had him on the ropes with the bases loaded, and since then he's had 4 ground ball outs.
Well, he went out there, he made the big pitch to Lindor. He got the 1-2-3 double play, and that really settled him in. And whatever it did, it kick-started him again.
Yan Gomes popped up to short in the 2nd, flied out to right field in the 4th. Takes a belt-high fastball for strike 1.
This is the one thing the Rangers did a lot last year. Played a lot of 1-run games. They were best in baseball, but 36 wins on 1 run. Only lost 11.
Right at the 3rd baseman, and the Indians go 1-2-3. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th in Arlington with the Rangers leading it 5-3.
By Sports Time Ohio, or $10 KeyBank Kids ticket online only, and come to the AL Champs home. Should be a fun opening homestand for us when we get back. Just go to Indians.com for the information.
Well, Corey Kluber had a rough third inning, gave up a solo homer and a 3-run homer. Outside of that, he's pitched well, and he's retired the last 8 in a row. Trying to get ahead with his fastball. That's been his game plan tonight. Going into that last inning, he'd thrown first pitch fastballs to 16 out of the 20 hitters. Now, as we pointed out in that third inning, it was a cut fastball to Carlos Gomez that didn't have a lot of movement to it, and he hit it out of the ballpark.
This is a guy that's been the problem tonight for Kluber.
A solo homer in the second, a 3-runner in the third for Odor. I think it's still one of the things that draws people to the game of baseball is that a guy like Odor, who's 5'11", can hit 33 homers. You don't have to be 6'5", 280.
No, this guy generates a lot of bat speed. He's got that high leg kick, and after he throws the fastball inside, he came back with that pitch right there and threw him another changeup.
Right back to the screen. Hurry. Swing and a foul. Just did get a piece of it. It's one of those deals where he literally just hit the top of the ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kluber just over the 90 pitch mark. But I believe the bullpen is quiet. High pop, out of play.
He's doing a nice job of following off some tough pitches. That ball was away, made him reach for it, but he got enough of it to foul it off and stay alive. And you can see with even 2 strikes, Odor doesn't mess around. He still takes a healthy cut.
Missed inside, full count. He's got that very spread out stance, but with that high leg kick, he sort of brings the weight back and then goes forward again with it. Now, a lot of moving parts to his swing. Hammered, fouled on the right side.
Well, if you don't get it in on him, he's going to hit it hard somewhere. But you can see that high leg kick. It's all a part of timing. When you think about it, from what I witnessed this spring, Santana used to have that high leg kick and go like that, but it's a timing thing. When you got it going, it works well. When you don't, you get caught in between a lot.
Another full count for Kluber. Swung out and missed. He struck him out.
Came back with another changeup. He threw 3 of them to him, and he got himself out that time swinging at a ball.
6th strikeout of the night for Kluber.
You see, he wanted to hit the ball so badly. He thought he was going to get enough of it, but you can see, even if that ball bounces with that changeup, he wanted to be aggressive. He went after it.
And I would like to think that's part of just good game planning. The Indians know that Odor's not a patient hitter. He walked 3% in his plate appearances last year.
Well, they made an adjustment on him throughout this game. He's hurt him the first 2 times, but He does want to put it in play. He doesn't want to walk.
He walked 19 times in 632 plate appearances last year. Ground ball weakly hit to short. Lindor on the charge, throws it across, 2 down. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. And Carlos Gomez with a solo homer in the third made it a 2-1 Texas lead. That was the first pitch of the third. 4 batters later, it was a 3-run homer by Odor, and it was 5-1 Texas. But back come the Indians on the 2-run homer by Jose Ramirez. And that's where we stand, 5-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Corey Kluber, since that 3-run homer by Odor, has slammed the door on Texas. He has retired 10 in a row. Gallo has grounded out and has struck out. They must teach these Texas hitters in the farm system. Do not
They've been
get
doing
cheated
it
when you
for
swing.
years. They've been doing it for years. They always come up and they've always had great power as a team.
If you choke up, we're going to cut you. Back out of play.
This has always been a team that could hit. And I mean, you can go back 30 and 40 years.
The 1-2. And it's funny, for 2 teams that have never been in the same division, they've shared a lot of players over the years. You think about Mike Napoli in recent times. You think about Shin-Soo Choo, but even back in your day, Buddy Bell, Toby Harrah, Mike Hargrove, they all played for both Texas and Cleveland. The 1-2. Just missed. Boy, Gallo, he did a nice job down on the count to not chase after that. It's an enticing pitch.
I'm thinking of some more players who are getting my mind going. Jackie Brown, Gaylord Barry,
Jim Bibby.
Jim Bibby.
Pitchers, but yeah. I'm sure there are
Ron Pruitt, Rick Waits.
many more that won't. Yeah. Wow, I forgot about Waiter.
Yeah.
Pitching here.
That's what I'm saying. He struck a chord I didn't. Now I'm starting to think about it.
Don't think. Ooh, that's the pitch that Kluber can be lethal with, and it just missed inside.
See if he comes back now with another changeup. That's been a pitch after you go inside, you back him up a little bit. He's going to look for something hard he can pull.
And the payoff.
Breaking
low.
ball.
So that snaps a string of 10 in a row retired by Kluber. Dan Otero looks to be ready if needed. At least he has the look of a guy who's already thrown. I didn't see him up getting loose earlier. Maybe he already has thrown them. You would think so, given the fact that Kluber's over 100 pitches on the night. And Elvis Andrus, 1 for 2 with a double. Takes low and away. Popped out of play. Arch, I think under normal circumstances, given that this is the first game of the season, in the minute a guy like Kluber hits 100 pitches, his night would have been over. But the fact that he'd retired 10 in a row and was kind of cruising along in a nice little groove, I think that's why Terry Francona's giving him the opportunity to try and get that third out of this inning.
The stressful innings. He just made some bad pitches today. That's it. When they hit the home runs, it wasn't like he was in a lot of trouble.
Runner goes, pitches in the dirt, and it goes to the backstop. And Gallo easily into second.
Right there was just the element of surprise when you're taking off. And let's see what Gomes does here. He realized he had a good jump, so he was going for all or nothing if he could backhand that ball, but he'll get a stolen base there.
In the left, Brantley makes a chest-high catch to end the inning. So Corey Kluber goes 6 here in his season debut, but the Tribe trails it 5-3. Proud partners of the Indians, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Buy the new 2017 Kia Optima and by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. Corey Kluber, 6 innings of work. His counterpart, Yu Darvish, is coming out for the 7th. He's got the bottom third of the Indians order due up, and action in the Ranger bullpen behind him.
Yeah, I'd have to think that Kluber done now. There's Callaway talking to him after 109 pitches. Retired 11 of the last 12, though.
Yeah, Darvish starts the 7th with only 87 pitches on the night. He breezed through that 6th inning.
Well,
That's what helped him out a lot.
Some throwing going on down in their bullpen. Get a base runner aboard and see what happens.
Naquin grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning. And a ground ball to second base that ended the 4th. Naquin shoots one to left. Profar on the run makes a nice catch for out number 1. Off the bat, thought maybe that had a chance to slice just inside the line for extra bases, but
well, watch, it's slicing away from him with the left-hander going that way, so he had a long way to run for it going to the line, but good speed, picks it up, and able to put it away for the first out.
And it brings up Yandy Diaz, who reached on the air in the 5th. Darvish with still pretty good life on the fastball. One ball, one strike. Diaz slaps one to right field. That's going to get down and go to the wall.
How about that swing?
Rosara digs it out. Diaz into second with a double. Arch, we saw him go the other way a number of times during spring training games, and as you said, he stays on the ball. He's got power. I mean, he can definitely pull the ball, but he seems
This
to be
ball was
more
down,
dangerous.
though. I mean, it was down. And that's going to be his first major league hit, so they'll get the baseball. And I mean, watch, he shoots it to right field. I mean, he's got some pop. This pitch is down. And he just stayed back on it. And
like it was no big deal.
there goes the stride. Just a really nice swing right there. His first major league hit. Congratulations. It's a double, and there's many to follow, I'm sure.
Tying run at the plate. Abraham Almonte has walked twice tonight. In the dirt, Luke Croy can't find it. Now he does. Diaz holds at second.
He's been all over the place tonight behind the plate, doing a pretty good job of blocking everything.
Two right-handers up in the Ranger pen. As Darvish perhaps nearing the end of the road.
Yeah, here he goes to that slider, his bread and butter. But there you see Luke Croy just knock it over, keep it around.
One and one. Matt Bush along with Tony Barnett continue to get loose in the Texas bullpen. And it goes to the, well, it didn't go to the backstop. It got away from Luke Croy. I thought it was going to go over his head, but somehow it stayed in front of him.
Well, he lost it. He was going to go try and pick it. And watch, he loses perspective of where it is. You see, he went out to backhand it instead of smothering it like he's been doing a great job all night long. This was the backhand that you don't expect. That was a fastball, right? You don't expect the fastball to come in there. Sliders you expect in the dirt. The fastballs you think are going to stay up.
He didn't help his pitcher out a lot with that one.
Not that time he didn't, because he went for the backhand instead of putting a body on it.
High 3-1 for Almonte. Three-one pitch and a foul right back. So the count goes full with Carlos Santana waiting on deck. But this becomes a very important at bat for the Indians, because with one out, chance to get that run home from third, make it a one-run game. And a payoff pitch. Swung and missed at a ball in the dirt, but the Indians will get the run anyway as Diaz scampers home from third, and Almonte is safe at first.
How about that? Two wild pitches to get a run. Almonte goes after that slider, had no chance at hitting it. Luke Croy cannot keep it around. I mean, that was, you talk about a back foot slider. That was all the way to the back of the batter's box and gets through. So Almonte will reach first. The run will score, and Darvish's night is going to be over.
So his night ends on a strikeout and a wild pitch and a run home for the Indians, and he'll leave with a tying run at first base as the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made from Matt Bush. He's coming on when we come back. By Sports Time Ohio is back. It includes your first drink, so grab some friends and catch the game from the corner and right, with the drink rails left. District tickets are only online at Indians.com/district ticket. Best part of last year in the postseason. No, maybe not the best part. One of the most entertaining aspects is when they would open the gates and sound the horn to watch the people sprint from the gates to those spots in the drink rails in the left field and right field.
First come, first serve, baby.
Matt Bush, 58 appearances a year ago. 7 wins out of the bullpen. This is a Texas bullpen that had 41 wins. They tied the major league record for wins by a bullpen last year. Runner goes. What a great jump. Throw down. Not even close.
Well, they know that you could run on this guy because they didn't hesitate on the very first pitch. Almonte off and running, and I guarantee Sandy was in his ear saying, you keep your eye on him, you can run on him, we got his time, and he steals it easily.
Don't see many relievers with a high leg kick anymore.
Well, no, you don't. But this guy, he made his debut last year at 30 years old, used to be a position player, and they have the times on him, and they took off on the first pitch, and there's your tying run with 1 out. So
Carlos Santana.
That's all part of the scouting report, I guarantee it.
Rick is right, Matt. Before the game, Sandy Alomar had about 4 guys around him. Abe Almonte was one of them. And this is one of the pictures they were looking at on an iPad. They had this down before the game.
Well, you can tell. Late in the game, if you go on the first pitch with Santana hitting up there like that, you know they have something on that pitcher.
Well, they looked at Darvish early, but then they put a group of about 5 guys together, all our guys that can run pretty much. And Lindor, Ramirez, I mean, Naquin and Almonte. They all sat around for about 6 minutes, and they went through 3 of the relievers for the Rangers. Matt Bush was the first guy, and it worked out early.
Yes, it did. Good for them.
Well, again, you watch Bush, you just don't see many relievers. So many guys have the slide step. He got that big high leg kick.
Baby steps, you know, he's new to pitching. So it's tough. I mean, it's all a progression where you have to learn the slide step. How many kids come up from the minor leagues pitching and they have to learn how to control the running game. That's one of the last things you do if you don't do it at the minor leagues.
At second base, and Santana in the hole right now, 1 and 2. As we learned from Chris Antonetti in spring training, this wouldn't qualify as a shift for the Rangers, even though they've got Odor, the second baseman, well out onto the outfield grass. But because Andrews is staying on the left side of the infield, this doesn't go in the books as a true shift. But we see Santana shifted on a lot.
But he can stay right behind that runner where Almonte doesn't get a big lead. And Bush is throwing that ball in the upper 90s.
Odor stumbled a bit, but throws out Santana for out number 2, and the tying run is 90 feet away. Francisco Lindor will be the batter.
Shortstop Francisco Lindor.
You can see where Mike Sarbaugh is telling him, be careful on that ball because it's brick back there behind home plate. It can ricochet off. You make sure it just doesn't bounce right back to the catcher. Going over a little of the detail that you have to pay attention to here on a pitch like that. Again, that time with the man on third base, he smothers it and he throws that body in. The only time he didn't was on that one fastball from Darvish that ended up costing him a base. But he's been all over that.
One-oh pitch. Wow. That looked a little generous, and it's 1-1.
At 97 miles an hour. Let's take a look at it. He's on the outside edge, and I agree with you. Isn't it funny how the game goes on and the strike zone expands?
Yeah. Now the 1-1. That's low. 2 balls and a strike. Lindor trying to deliver in the clutch. Hit pretty well. Center field. Chasing back is Gomez and makes the grab just shy of the warning track to end the inning. But the Indians keep clawing their way back. They're down a run. Stretch time in Texas. Debut tonight in the opener for the third straight year.
A couple times early, made a couple of bad pitches where he had a flat cutter to those two, and Odor was the guy that got him on a pitch away. He hooked into right center field, so the 3 home runs really hurt him, but I'll tell you what, he got his fastball command back, he settled down, and then that slider started to break a lot sharper. He had to come back fastball to the left-handers. He started pitching like we know Corey Kluber could pitch, and we saw that changeup to the lefties a lot tonight. So he really settled in, retired 11 of the last 12.
Hit 5 3-2 counts, which kind of led to maybe the inflated pitch count, but he still gave you 6 innings. And as you said, it wasn't like he labored in that third. He just a couple of bad pitches. And
you know, earlier it was all about, I think, the command, you know, settling in. He didn't have that good fastball command where he got it later after they scored the runs, and then they came right back into the game. So he settled down nicely.
Now it's up to a bullpen that was rock solid a year ago to keep the Indians in the game here. Only down a run. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Dan Otero to face Jurickson Profar, and the first pitch in there for a strike.
This is a guy that has done a terrific job last year for the Indians.
in every role they put him in.
Yeah, I mean, he was the go-to guy. He's got a good sinker. He's a ground ball pitcher. Keeps the ball in play. He can fill any role for you.
Just missed outside. Profar has grounded out and struck out on the night. Otero led the team in innings out of the bullpen with 70 2/3. Third best ERA in the American League among relievers at 153.
Looked like he pulled the string on him right there to get him to roll over on it.
One away.
Well, Tribe 6-packs are on sale now and include a new Thursday afternoon option. Ditch the office cut class and get the progressive feel for some of this summer's biggest games. Just go to Indians.com. You can purchase yours today.
Carlos Gomez. He hit that first pitch homer in the third that turned the tide in this game. And before the Indians could recover, Texas had scored 4 times in the third. That's a routine fly to center. Naquin makes the grab, 2 down. Let's get on to Andre with more on Dan Otero.
You know, I talked to Dan before the game, and we talked about spring training being that extra week. And he said when they started spring training, he didn't like it. But he said that extra week ended up helping them out, though, and it was twofold. Because of the World Baseball Classic, all the guys got to be together. He said they needed that. But also for the pitchers, they all started a little bit later because of how deep they went in the season last year. He said he felt like he needed that extra week, and he's glad that they got it.
Well, and he faces 2 batters, retires both of them. And Terry Francona is going to go to left-hander Boone Logan, who will make his Indians debut when we come back. Two down and the base is empty. Shin-Soo Choo will be the batter. So Tito calls on Boone Logan. He comes to the Indians after spending last year in Colorado. Veteran left-hander.
Yeah, that was their final piece of the puzzle where they went out and signed Logan, another left-hander that does a nice job against left-handers and has in his career.
And it's a luxury that the Indians certainly haven't had much of in recent years, having that second go-to left-hander.
Right.
Chu with a liner to left. Brantley won't get to it. One pitch. And Chu goes the other way for a 2-out single.
Yeah, Chu just fights that fastball off inside and throws it to left field. Luga's not going to spot him anything. That fastball goes inside, and it's a pretty good swing by Chu. Take it the other way, but he does have one more left-hander that he's going to have a chance to, or he'll be out of the game, and it looks like Shaw's up and throwing.
Nomar Mazara is 2 for 3. He doubled in the first. He singled in the third, and then almost had his third hit of the game in the 5th inning. But Yandy Diaz made a diving catch at third to rob Mazara of a hit that time up. Up and in, ball 1. There is Brian Shaw getting loose, and you would imagine he would come on to face Napoli should this inning continue. Logan nails the outside corner with a fastball to even the count of 1-1. And an off-speed pitch. You could see Mazara kind of gave up on it, and it just leaked over the inside corner. Called a strike. Could not get him to offer there. Boone Logan, a guy who threw his slider almost 68% of the time with 2 strikes last season. That was second highest out of qualifying relief pitchers in the majors.
That's your go-to pitch. That's your out pitch. You go to it when you get to 2 strikes. There it was. He did not get the swing.
And so now a full count. And so how does that change the approach if you're Yan Gomes? He hasn't thrown it for a strike, but maybe he hasn't wanted him to the last 2 pitches.
Well, you don't give in, that's for sure, because this is his last hitter he's going to face. So you go with your best pitch right here. Whether you can throw it for a strike, we will see.
Goes to the fastball and threw it by him. Might have had Mazara thinking slider and able to blow a heater right past him to end the inning. We'll go to the 8th in Arlington. It's still a 1-run game. and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. 5-4 Texas, 8th inning now. And for the Indians, Michael Brantley, Edwin Encarnacion, and Jose Ramirez due up. Matt Bush got the final 2 outs of the 7th. And it looks like he'll stay on to pitch the 8th. No action in the Texas pen. Brantley 0 for 3 on the night. Inside. That's about the second or third ball we've seen just clank off the glove of the Rangers backstop tonight. Brantley booms one, but fouled on the right side.
Well, you don't see Michael sit down pitches like that too often, but he was looking for that fastball dead red inside, and he turned on it. And he hit a good piece of it, but it was foul. And you've got to get it started when you're facing Bush, because that was about 97.
Off speed, down low.
You can see when you're ready and you turn on that heater, you're going to come back with something off speed.
I mean, seriously, right? He's almost 100 miles an hour with a fastball, and then 80. Another low heater, but down out of the zone. What concentration, what a great eye it takes to be able to spot that pitch early enough to know, I don't have to swing it.
Well, you can see that Michael, he's picking him up very well. You can just tell by his approach, the way he takes the baseball, he's in a nice count.
Lifted to center. Back goes Gomez. Plenty of room out there, though. One away. And now Edwin Encarnacion, who singled and scored in the 4th. And he starts him off with a breaking ball. High, slicing, foul, out of play. This maybe will not surprise you, given the power numbers that he has put up. But Edwin Encarnacion is the best hitter in baseball in terms of slugging percentage against relievers in the past 3 years. Almost a .600 slugging percentage specifically against relief pitchers. And he just launched one deep to left, and we are tied at 5.
Boy, he speeds up his bat. He went with the breaking ball, and Encarnacion was just waiting for it.
He continues to feast on opposing bullpens. And we've got a brand new ball game here in the 8th.
Yes, we do. The right guy in the right spot. Watch this, an 80-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Boy, and if you don't get that one away, that's right into his wheelhouse, man. And he just, that's what he's paid to do.
Such a quiet swing, though. I mean, there's really not a ton of movement there. Picks that foot up,
he's
puts it down. He's
developed into a very, very good hitter. He's always had good power, even when he was with Cincinnati, Matt. But he's turned himself into a great hitter. And I mean, he loves it with men on base, but you know, you get the count. You can see the pitchers over there shaking their heads. That was Carrasco, who's pitching tomorrow. But boy, that's it. One swing of the bat, and that goes to show you how important those zeros are on the board when they had a 5-1 lead to keep putting a zero up there and giving your offense a chance. That's only the 5th hit for the Indians. But you know, the walks, the wild pitches, and things have worked out in play where they were able to peck their way back into the ball game.
This game so far very reminiscent of the team a year ago that just kept fighting all the time. They were never a team that was going to throw in the towel regardless of the situation. They were down 5-1 tonight to one of the best pitchers in the American League, even though they had their own ace on the hill in Corey Kluber. But that could be a tall order to climb out of that kind of a hole. But they just kept chipping away at Kluber. After that 4-run third inning was just dynamite tonight. And now the bullpen has come on. And now Andrew Miller is getting loose in the Cleveland pen.
I think you're going to see that smile a lot this year.
Popped him up, straight up, second base, Odor. And there are 2 down. Take one more look at this home run.
Oh, goodness. Look at that spinner right there, and it stays. He doesn't flinch. It's almost like he knew it was coming. And that swing there ties it up.
That's where the spinner met the barrel. And he sent it a long way out of here. Now Yan Gomes, who is 0 for 3. Hit it on the screws last time up, but he hit it right at Joey Gallo, the third baseman. A little high, ball 1. And now Gomes with a charge deep to right. Back is Mazzara. Middle of the track. He pulls it down. Edwin Encarnacion's second hit of the night goes deep in the heart of Texas. And we're tied at 5. Storylines brought to you by Mazda. Pair of aces. Neither pitcher will figure in the decision here tonight. Corey Kluber really finished strong. Michael Brantley in his return 0 for 4 so far tonight. And Yandy Diaz in his major league debut 1 for 3 has scored a run. Defensively made a nice play here on a diving ball in the hole.
It was off the end of the bat, had a lot of spin to it. And then they're going to turn around and hit a fastball down in the zone for his first major league hit, and that will be a double on a nice swing on a pitch that was not that easy to handle.
And of course, we are tied at 5 now, thanks to Edwin Encarnacion's first home run as an Indian. Now Andrew Miller will come on to pitch the 8th. And ironically, the first batter he will face to start the year is his former teammate and Mike Napoli. Napoli walked and scored in the 3rd. Lined out the short his last time up. He takes a slider at the back foot for ball 1. Fastball in there, 1-1 to count.
That's the one thing that makes Miller so tough. He can throw that fastball or the slider at any time for strikes. I mean, it doesn't matter. He can tease you, he can throw it in, he can throw it out. It just, he's got such a great feel for it.
Fastball ran in off the plate, 2-1. And the 2-1. Oh, a nice little breaking ball that started off the plate.
Yeah.
Instead of the back foot slider.
That's what I'm saying. He can throw it to both sides, both pitches to both sides of the plate at any time.
That's a nice pitch when you're down in the count, too. And he, oh, Napoli just did get a piece of that to stay alive.
Well, he just gets a piece of it, but Napoli likes that ball down a lot more than he does up. And if he got to that pitch, you either try and bury it, maybe on the back foot, or get him to chase that bounce, or elevate a fastball at the letters.
Now the 2-2. Swung out and missed.
He just threw a nasty one right there.
And he took a little more off it, Rick,
Yes.
so it's almost like a completely different pitch.
Yeah, you change speeds with it.
Here's Andrew Miller on his 2 featured pitches.
It's a 4-seam fastball, pretty standard normal grip. I just want it to backspin as true as possible and hopefully go where it's supposed to and be, generally at the knees on the corner of the strike zone. And then my slider grip, I always grab across the seams. Mainly just, try not to overthrow it and trust it. And, it tends to be a pretty good pitch for me. It's something I've kind of fine-tuned, but I haven't made any drastic changes over the years.
It tends to be a pretty good pitch for him.
Pretty good, yeah. But you see what he says with his fastball, just try and get backspin and throw it and keep it down. But it can go in and out at any time. And, a lot of times pitchers may try and throw it in certain spots, but they just don't get it there. But if you keep it down and you can move it around like he does, and you can say sometimes you throw it when you trust it. Sometimes it goes a little harder than other times. You take it off. But, I mean, this guy's just funky delivery for both the lefties and righties. He just comes straight at you. Not a high leg kick at all.
1 ball, 1 strike. Rougned Odor has had quite a night. Solo homer in the 2nd. 3-run smash in the 3rd. Accounting for almost all of the Rangers' offense tonight. Pulls it foul. In fact, since the Rougned Odor 3-run homer in that 3rd inning, Texas has 1 hit.
Yeah, that was the Chu hit last inning.
Ground ball to first. Encarnacion knocked it down, so he's able to stay right with it. And there are 2 gone. And up comes the catcher for Texas, who is 0 for 3 on the night. Well, it's interesting how this game is set up. You know, one-run games. That was the Rangers'
calling card.
Calling card here.
Yep.
I mean, that was how they made their bones. Best winning percentage since 1900 in Major League Baseball with a 36-11 record.
Yeah, they're a very good come from behind team, but it's been the Indians that have had to come back tonight.
Right.
And the bullpen's been able to throw the zeros on the board as well as Kluber to keep it intact, and they were able to tie it up. We could keep going for a while here tonight. These two teams are very, very similar.
Two of the best in the American League, both with very high expectations. Though a lot of the national prognosticators are more on Houston than they are on Texas, as that pitch is nasty down and in. You look at the offseason acquisitions the Astros made, certainly nothing to scoff at, but it's just interesting how almost everything that I read, everybody was on Houston, not so much on this club.
Well, if Houston's going to dethrone Texas, they better find a way to beat them, because the Rangers have owned them.
Beat them 15 out of 19 last year. Meanwhile, Andrew Miller, hot knife through butter. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 9th, tied at 5. The 9th, Texas goes to their closer. It's a tie game, but Sam Dyson will come on and pitch for the Rangers. Last year, he pitched in 73 games, saved 38 ball games.
Well, he had an unbelievable year right here at home. His ERA was just at 1, where he gave up just 4 earned runs in 36 innings. Last year, one of the best ERAs at home here that the Rangers have ever had. Now that's interesting.
Right,
that is interesting right there.
You'd want to fear the beard there just because. Here in the 9th, Tyler Naquin will lead it off. tried to hold up, but he went around, and it's 1-1. Sam Dyson is the 4th different closer to start the year in the last 4 seasons for Texas. He didn't start the year as their closer last year, even though he saved 38 ball games.
Yeah, their
Tollison
bullpen actually
was the closer to start the year.
Well, yeah, and then they had a lot of injuries. And the thing of it is, though, they started to get better as the year went on. You know, they struggled early in that first half to about an ERA of a 5, and then really started putting it together in the second half.
Missed up and away. 3-1. Yandy Diaz waits on deck. Abe Almonte to follow. And that ball smacked into center field. So Tyler Naquin has his first hit. And the Indians have the go-ahead run aboard to start the 9th inning.
Well, it makes a difference when you get the count in your favor as a hitter. Now, Tyler just stayed right on that pitch and went right back up the middle. You know, in his last at-bat, he flew out to left. He rolled over on a couple in his first 2, and now he's starting to use the middle part of the field. He got the count in his favor and put a good swing on that one. That's their 6th hit.
Now here's Yandy Diaz. He doubled and scored his last time up. Before that, he blistered one to short that ate up Elvis Andrus. He was charged with an error. Inside, almost hit him. Pinching in at third, Joey Gallo was looking for a bunt, but Arch, the way this guy swings the bat, even though he's hitting 8th, I don't see Terry putting a bunt on here.
No, I don't either. This guy, he shoots it the other way. You'd like to try and first and third him in this situation.
And foul back, 1-1.
Dyson is maybe just a hair better than average going to home plate on that situation, but I think you like the chances of Diaz going the other way. But he's got that approach to Dyson. He's a good sinker ball pitcher. If he throws it inside, he can take it the other way, you know, with that swing. He doesn't try to pull it.
Slowly chopped to third. Gallo's only played at first.
Okay, there you go. He's in scoring position, but you can see how that ball had the movement coming in on him. And he buried it on the inside part of the plate, so Gallo's only play was to first base. Naquin can get himself in scoring position. They'll have a couple of chances now to try and get the go-ahead run in.
No, Abraham Almonte walked his first 2 times up and scored a run. Then his last time up, he was at the place. He swung and missed at a ball that was down and in on him. He hit the dirt. But it was strike 3, but he ran to first. He was safe there, and Yandy Diaz scored from third. Not a play you see very often.
No, then he promptly stole second base on the first pitch from Bush.
Pulls it foul. And the count 1-1.
This is the guy you're going to see if he's on his game with Dyson, that you'll see a lot of balls hit into the ground because you can see the movement on his pitches. It seems like he's throwing, we call it a shot put or just a heavy sinker. It's tough to hit the bottom part of the baseball because it's going down. But sometimes he can have control problems and control issues. I remember a game here last year, late into the season when we came in here. It was the 9th inning, and he was coming on the close, and he gave up a hit, and he walked a couple guys, but he was able to get out of it. But the Indians had an opportunity, but it's all about command with this guy. If it's in place, he can be very nasty. If not, he's going to give you an opportunity.
Line drive, center field, base hit. Naquin around third with the go-ahead run. He will score. 7-6 Cleveland. Excuse me, 6-5 Cleveland as Abraham Almonte delivers with his first hit of the night. And what a line shot it was, right back up the gut.
Both guys taking it right back up the middle, and that's a good approach off this sinker baller. And he got one out over the plate. Almonte kept the hands back. He had to reach a little bit, but he takes it right back up the middle. So that ground out where Naquin could get himself in a scoring position. Back come the Indians to a 6-5 lead. Good job of hitting right there.
And that'll turn it over to the top of the order and Carlos Santana. Santana doubled in the third. He walked in the fifth. With the Indians with a couple of hits off the Rangers closer here in the ninth to take the lead.
Boy, it sort of silenced this crowd that was pretty loud early in the ball game, but it's been the Indians pitching that has been able to shut it down since the third inning.
5 unanswered runs for the Indians. And a strike call. Off goes Almonte. Santana fouling it back.
When you look at the two hitters in the inning that get on base, there's a 3-1 pitch at Naquin, a sinker away. He went right back up the middle. Well, guess what? Almonte did the exact same thing. Got a sinker out over the plate, did not try to roll over on it or pull it, and use the big part of the field. And it worked.
Santana shoots one up the alley in right center field. That'll get down. Around second, on his way to third is Almonte. He's going to score all the way from first as Carlos Santana delivers an RBI double. And it's a 7-5 Cleveland lead in the ninth.
Yeah, that bench is rocking right now. He kept his hands back beautifully. His second double of the evening, and this one plugged the gap in right center field. Watch maybe his body gets out front. Watch his hands. His hands stayed back. And boy, he did a nice job of hitting that same sinker and found the gap. So Almonte able to score easily from first base. Santana cruises into second, and it's a 2-run ninth and a 2-run lead.
You know, you always talk about the sinker and how it doesn't have to be up a lot, but if the hitter knows that's your pitch, so you're already looking down as a hitter. So if it's just up a little bit from where you normally throw it, it becomes a lot more hittable for the hitter, doesn't it?
Well, I like their approach on it. They didn't try and roll over on it. The one time he did get the out in the inning when it went to Diaz, I mean, he forced him to try and pull it. He was trying to take it the other way, but he made a good pitch on him. The left-handers have had a nice approach to him in this inning.
Francisco Lindor.
That tells me he better start pitching some of them inside because they're reaching out over the plate and taking his best pitch away from him.
Chops one up the gut, backhanded by Odor. And there are 2 down as Santana moves to third on the play. Since the Indians fell behind 5-1, they've scored 2 in the fourth, 1 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, and 2 here in the ninth. Michael Brantley 0 for 4 tonight. Down on the dirt. Dyson deals. And Brantley fooled by the change of pace, 1-1. Ball sails high, 2-1. Left-hander up in the Texas bullpen. Alex Claudio. Cody Allen ready in the Cleveland pen. Michael pulls it foul. Just can't say enough about how hard Michael Brantley has worked to get himself into this position. How hard he worked last year to try and come back, only to have his heart broken, and the realization that the shoulder was not responding, needed more surgical procedure done. Went in, had that done, worked hard all off season, went to spring training, did everything they asked him to do. And some of it was, you know, you have to be patient, which that's got to be a hard thing to do.
It's the hardest thing to do when you're an athlete and you were coming back, trying to come back from the year before that.
But boy, it's like once they sort of took the training wheels off, he just blew everybody out of the water. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball, and it's in the hole. Michael Brantley's first hit of the year results in a 2-out RBI single, plating Santana and making it an 8-5 Indians lead.
Well, this is the first one that he was able to pull, or a lefty pulled and found the hole between first and second base. Brantley, a guy that just uses everything, but this one was elevated a little bit. It was upstairs, so he got a good portion of the baseball. Even though he hit it on top, he found the hole and was able to get enough of it.
Sam Dyson faces 6 hitters. The Indians chase the Rangers closer with 3 runs home, and now they've got the lead. Texas, where the Indians have come back from a 5-1 deficit to take an 8-5 lead with 3 here in the 9th. They chase Texas's closer Sam Dyson, and now left-hander Alex Claudio will be on to face Edwin Encarnacion.
39 appearances for Claudio last year, 4-1 record. Only 51 2/3 innings.
In his Indians debut, Encarnacion hooked a ball in the left field for a single in the 4th, and then launched one for a homer in the 8th, and that tied the game.
Yeah, that was the big hit to tie the ball game up with one swing of the bat. And then they come back and they put a 3 spot on the board here in the 9th.
Michael Brantley delivering his first hit of the year and his first RBI with a 2-out single into right field.
If I'm the left-hander out there coming in, I try to make a few throws over there to get the out so you don't have to make a pitch to Encarnacion.
Off-speed pitch, and it dances over the outside corner.
Seems like it's never going to get there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can get a ticket with that. Not going fast enough.
Not in Arizona, you can't.
Well, they drive just as crazy here.
Blown away. Chops it foul. And it's 1-2. And that's a liner to third. Gallo makes the grab to end the inning. But the Indians break it loose here in the ninth. 4 hits, 3 runs. And they'll take an 8-5 lead to the bottom of the ninth. Cody Allen will come on and try and close it out for the Indians here on opening night. 32 saves a year ago, pitching in 67 games overall. And defensively, Michael Martinez has come into the ball game at third base. You know, Arch, baseball is one of those games. It's you think about the other sports when you get ready for a season. It's the only game where there's one particular guy on your team who can't really get any sort of simulation to start the season until he's out there for the first time, and that's your closer. You can try and pitch him maybe in the 9th inning of a spring training game, but
they never do.
Same.
Your closer comes in when the good hitters are playing. Usually it's a 5th or 6th, especially early in camp, and then maybe a couple of times at the end if you're fortunate.
So when you think about it, his first opportunity to do what he gets paid to do for a living is in the first time he takes the field in a big league game.
Well, it's nice his offense gave him a 3-run. You go out there with the biggest difference you can get to have a save. So they gave him plenty to work with.
In a hostile environment, though, some of the faithful have packed up and headed for home.
But this is how these guys live, is with the adrenaline. This is what they want, man. I mean, you can put them in a spring training game and it's just not there until you get into the bright lights, you get the upper decks, and you say, okay, now it's on, game on.
Down and in. 2 balls and a strike. Joey Gallo awaiting the 2-1, and he missed up and in. Blew it by him, full count.
Yeah, that's the one thing you sure want to do. You want to make them hit their way on. You don't want to give them any base runners now. You're at the bottom part of the lineup. No free passes.
Fouled right back. For Joey Gallo, 156 major league plate appearances now, 77 strikeouts. And the 3-2. Blew it by him upstairs. Cody Allen comes back to strike him out. One down.
Just came right back with the fastball and says, here you go, you got to hit it. And he elevates it to the left-hander above the belt. And you can see a normal left-hander, little uppercut swing. Comes up empty. Cody gets the strikeout.
Elvis Andrus. Not your typical number 8 hitter in a lineup. This guy's a pretty good offensive player, but he gives Jeff Bannister some offense down on the bottom part of the lineup, and he has had, well, it doesn't matter if you wear an Indians uniform, he gets a hit off you.
That's true.
And he yanks this one a deep left. Back is Brantley, can't quite make the catch. Andrus on his way to third. And Elvis is in with a triple. Michael Brantley almost made a spectacular catch, but just off the end of his glove.
Yeah, and Andrus, he continues. There's a fastball right there, and he's quick enough, and Michael does get leather. It looked like it goes off the end of it. Ball hit right over your head, one of the toughest ones to plays to make as an outfielder. But it'll go as a triple as they get it in.
Now I'm going to ask you the question that a lot of fans might be wondering. Is that play in any way a result of all the time he's missed out there and the reps that he's missed as an outfielder?
No, I don't think so. Nope. That's just what, that's a tough play, man. A line drive. That ball was smoked. He hit it hard and it was over your head, and it's either a do or die play. You either make it or you don't.
Jurickson Profar has grounded out twice, and he has struck out tonight. And that was a very good fastball. That had some heat to it, some life. So far, no match for it. And it's 0-2. Curveball down and in, and he did a nice job to lay off. After what he did to him on that last fastball, you could maybe think he's gearing up for it. You just get it started and you can't stop when he throws the off-speed pitch. Tested his patience a second time. He did not go. And it's back to even at 2-2.
Well, he went in there twice and tried to get him to swing at a pitch out of the strike zone. He did not chase. He came close that second time. They did check with the third base umpire, but they said no, he did not.
Rick fouled on the right side, way out in front of it. But that's what I was saying when he made him look bad with that fastball. He didn't want to look bad again, so he's looking fastball. Sometimes it's amazing, as far out in front of as he was there, that he can hold up when he doesn't throw the fastball.
Well, it's got to be for a strike, and they would have had him. I mean, when you can throw that curveball for a strike, then it's a different story. You get him to chase, and it's like that, and he's been able to lay off. If you're going to go with that curveball, if you can throw it for a strike, then you may get him. But Texas feels like they still have a little life. This is a big pitch right here. With 1 out, 3-2 count. Force him to put in play. He'll come back with the fastball. We'll see what happens.
Another payoff pitch. Oh, he threw it by him upstairs. A letter-high fastball.
You see, the
His
patience
second
was there
strikeout
on
of
the
the
breaking ball, but you come 3-2, and he was ready for the fastball, but he swung at a ball. And I mean, he elevated it. That's eye high, and that's just a pitch that, look at, he can't believe it. He was able to lay off the breaking balls, but he couldn't lay off that fastball.
Adrian Beltre, who can only watch tonight as he starts the year on the DL.
That's also a young hitter trying to put it in play instead of just keep the train rolling, move it along. That's the tying run. If he walks and takes that pitch, you bring the tying run to the plate.
Carlos Gomez goes wailing away at an off-speed pitch for strike 1. Curveball, and that drops in for a strike. And now he's got Gomez buried in the count, 0-2.
See, now you're in trouble as a hitter because he's thrown both the fastball and the curveball for strikes. So he could probably expand here and maybe get him to chase.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the game. The Indians, with a come-from-behind win on opening night here in Texas, beat the Rangers by a final of 8-5. Cody Allen slams the door here in the 9th for his first save, as the Indians start the season off in fine fashion. After falling behind 5-1, they just started to chip away. 2-run homer by Jose Ramirez in the 4th. They scratched out a run on a wild pitch in the 7th. Encarnacion homered in the 8th and had 3 runs on 4 hits in the 9th off the Rangers closer Sam Dyson. And the Indians take it by the final score of 8-5. And Rick, I think the other big story tonight is the Indians bullpen picking up right where they left off.
Well, 7 unanswered runs. They really set it down. I mean, Texas came out. There were some mistakes made early. They hit some big home runs, and that's how basically they scored. All 5 of their runs was on the long ball, but the Indians kept pecking away. They didn't have a big hitting night until later in the ball game. And they just, you know, when you put zeros on the board and you're down, you give your offense a chance to get back into it. And they had the momentum going. And then the 7th, 8th, and 9th, they just took over.
Wow, what a win for the Indians. Andrew Miller will get the win. Cody Allen